everyone! Welcome to IC Stories, episode 48. So in this episode, pag-uusapan natin ang Frontrow, a decentralized ticket marketplace. So yan, bago natin tawagin ang ating mga guests, syempre, mag-hello muna tayo sa ating early birds. Ayan, hello Scout Martin. First, attendance check. Syempre, lagi may pa-attendance check. Ito si Scout Martin. Maraming salamat. LFG, Chari Maya, hello, we see you. Maraming salamat po. Esther Z, ICP, Yepi, Esfeso, thank you very much for tuning in. You guys know the drill. Ang magsasend po ng best questions natin ay magkakaroon ng giveaways. Siyempre, makaka-receive ng giveaways natin. Umri UH, thank you so much for joining in. This is going to be a very exciting episode dahil nga marami tayong kasama o kwentuhan tonight, no? So, hindi lang po isang representative ang pinadala ng Frontrow, kung hindi tatlo. GM, Miss Christine, hello, thank you so much. Palangga, ICP, long time. Maraming salamat for joining in. So happy to see you again. Also, if you guys noticed, naka-live na tayo ngayon sa YouTube and Facebook. So make sure po na i-share po natin lahat ang mga mga naka-live stream. At sa mga hindi po nakakalam, sa mga returning natin na community members o kaya naman sa mga bago, meron po tayong bagong show which is IC Pulse Weekly. So get your weekly dose of global and local news updates about ICP. So it's very exciting. Join us there. Meron din tayong mga IC Premio giveaways. So sumali na kayo guys. Last week no, napakarami nating events. Nagkaroon tayo ng mga online, yung mga I think code camps natin, yung mga university tours, no? So, si Miss Melissa yung operations lead natin. And si Sir Ganap, si Sir Ellie, ang technical lead natin, pumunta rin sa iba't ibang university to talk about crypto, blockchain, especially ICP. So, sobrang exciting. And then for our real-life events, nagkaroon tayo ng dalawa, back-to-back. We had yung 3rd anniversary. So, dun sa natin, no, IC Pulse, kinuwento ko ng konti yun, ano nangyari sa Zurich, ano nangyari sa Philippines. Nagpakita din tayo ng mga pictures doon, anong ginawa natin, paano tayo nag-celebrate. So, ICP, PH, 3rd anniversary yon and Business Mixer. Tapos, the next event, the next day, agad-agad nag-attend tayo ng Crypto Bilis Pizza Party where we met so many of our community members. Si Miss Christine din, part of our team, no? First time ko siyang na-meet, guys, na-confirm ko, hindi po siya bot, hindi siya AI. So I would also like to confirm, itong mga nakakakwentuhan natin weekly, no? Sina Espeso, si Scout Martin, Charimaya, Esther Z, ICP, pa-confirm nyo naman sa akin kung totoong tao po kayo at hindi kayo AI. Attend po kayo sa mga community events natin na isa-set natin para sa inyo. Katniati, hello. Nadilia, hello po. Gadget Trending GT, thank you so much for joining in. Again, please don't forget to share this live stream because it's going to be a very exciting episode. So, si Sir Nelson, hindi po natin siya kasama ngayon. Magpapamiss muna siya. So, it's just me and our guests for tonight. Pero like I said, tatlong representatives po ang pinadala nila. So, huwag natin patagalin pa. I know you guys are watching for them. So, let's call in our guests. We have the co-founders of Frontrow. We have Mark, Jed, and Nathaniel. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, it's amazing.
Doing really well.
Really good.
I'm so excited. I have so many questions for you guys. But can you give a quick intro about who you are and what you do in Frontrow?
Yes, fantastic. So my name is Mark. I am a developer here for Frontrow, but I'm mainly the founder of the organization. And a bit of backstory from us and how we built this team. We all met at university. We were at university in the UK together, Durham University. And we met through various courses and similar interests, notably blockchain, but also the Entrepreneur Society and various courses we all took together. We started building this in sort of late last year, so sort of November. We all got together and came up with this plan. But we started the real development in January, where after speaking to Definity and refining our model a bit. And since then, we've been building Frontrow on the IC.
Wow. I mean, I didn't expect that you guys met at university because usually with the people we interview, when I ask them, how'd you guys meet? They just started working, like they met in the Web3 space already. So, how would you say that, knowing each other through university, how has that changed or has strengthened your dynamic as a team now?
Well, of course, I mean, we all have a very good relationship together, and it was great that we were able to have a pre-established relationship whilst navigating the Web3 space for the first time.
Yeah.
And we all had our own invested interests and past experience in Web3, and when we put that all together, we really realized that we had potential as a team to work on a project that we were passionate about.
So, can you explain, like, why start Frontrow? What is it, and why do you think it's important in this space? Why do we need it now? What problem are you solving?
Of course, I think
Yes,
Mark would
of
be best
course.
suited to this.
So the inspiration for Frontrow mainly came from attending an ICP event in Paris. And through various talks with various people, I realized that there was no real ticketing service on the IC yet, which seems a real shame because I think everybody has sort of a natural instinct from NFTs. You essentially think of the art aspect, but also of the functionality aspect. And tickets is really something that comes up with this. It's one of the things that we really think should be transformed into a digital asset, especially with this new globalized world we have. Attending certain events has become a real sort of luxury for people and a real memorable experience for certain individuals. So we thought about revolutionizing and sort of creating a new approach to ticketing through the dynamic nature of NFTs, which are possible on the IC. So the essentially what we're trying to build is dynamic NFTs which change according to the user's needs for his ticketing experience. So the initial ticket would be an NFT which you can safely trade on our marketplace. And then as you approach the event, the NFT would generate an access QR code specific to the wallet owner, which would grant him access to the event. And finally, after the event is finished, as a sort of memorabilia and proof of attendance, we transform the NFT into a digital asset for you as the attendee, which can then also be traded on our marketplace for certain value. As you know, I think you know, like after you attend an event, you have sort of a sentimental attachment to your participation to that event. I mean, not for all of them, but certainly for some. And so that can really broaden your experience as a user for any event worldwide.
Your answer had gotten me light up because I am a huge fan of concerts. Like I attend a lot of concerts. I love it. I agree that sometimes you have a sentimental attachment to the ticket because you're like, oh, that's my proof of attendance. Aside from like the millions of videos and photos you take, there's just something about the ticket that you have. Because sometimes, especially for concerts that are in high demand, it's so hard to get one. So just having one is, you get attached to it. I'm currently not in my home, so I don't have like I actually have on display some of the favorite concerts I attended. So the idea of having an NFT, having that immortalized, that's mine, on the blockchain as a proof of attendance, that's very, very exciting to me. So what's the idea behind this? Would this be applicable only for events, for concerts? How do you see it being applied in the real world? Like, will they also be used for watching movies, things like that? And what aspects are you targeting?
Absolutely. Well, I think the end goal is to have infinite scalability in all of the things that you just mentioned. But I think really we just identified some core issues in traditional ticketing systems, and decided that we could create a project to help alleviate some of those issues, such as having a transparent secondary marketplace for the ticket sales. So there's a common issue with ticket sales in which scalpers use bots to purchase large amounts of tickets and then resell them for very
Crazy
inflated
amount
price,
of money.
a ridiculous
Oh
amount.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know there was some drama regarding a Taylor Swift concert a few months
I
ago.
was gonna bring that up. You got me.
Yeah.
So in the Philippines, I'm not sure. I'm so invested in this because I was like, blockchain can solve this, and now we're talking about it. So Taylor Swift had a concert in Singapore. It was, I think, it was the only Asia country that she listed, or aside from Japan. So it was Japan and Singapore, and then because of that, it was so hard to get a ticket. So there there were two problems. So number one is the scalpers. Like again, like you said, like they try to resell them for a ridiculous amount of money. And then the second one is a lot of scammers too, in that they don't really have tickets. They just pretend like, oh yeah, yeah, pay me this amount of money, like 1K USD, and I'll give you a VIP ticket or whatever. But then after you send them the money, they will block you. And there's this one scammer who I think was able to garner, I'm not sure with a number, but the reported one was around $20,000. So that's crazy. That is
Yes,
crazy,
exactly. And yeah,
especially here in the Philippines, because for us, $20,000 you multiply by 60. That's a denomination here in the Philippines. So it's a real issue. But imagine if tickets are made into NFTs. You have, again, like you said, a transparent marketplace that would solve so many problems. It would be easier for everyone, and you don't have to trust it because you can verify it on the blockchain, right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's immutable.
Mm-hmm.
From
So
the user's perspective, it's definitely a huge benefit just to be able to directly enter a smart contract peer to peer with the seller. And as soon as he lists it on the marketplace, if you are accepting to pay that fee, then it will be automatically transferred to your wallet. There's no sort of back and forth between you and the ticket reseller. It's automatic, straight away, transparent. And the fee is directly up front. There's no sort of discretion in that. It's transparently priced.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's also going to be cheaper because we have like very minimal, especially if it's on ICP. It's very, very minimal. Like it's just super cheap and almost negligible for the fee that people pay. Um, I want to know, like, while you guys are building this, of course, it's solving a lot of problems, but I'm sure we will also be encountering problems with it, right? Are there any that you have encountered, and how are you planning on addressing those?
Yeah, there's definitely been some problems we've encountered. The main one is essentially how do we make the NFTs sort of singular to the wallet holder without necessarily displaying everything that makes the NFT unique on chain. The main problem with it is we want to get to a point where you can directly display your NFT within your wallet and scan it upon entry. But the main problem with this is whatever NFT displaying in your wallet is also displaying on chain. So someone could come before you and display the NFT and access the event as yourself, essentially. So a sort of workaround we found for that is we use mobile authentication to solely produce the QR code on our website, so Frontrow. And so you come in and you mobile authenticate. That generates your QR code for you, and then you can scan upon entry, but without ever displaying it on chain for other people to use. And instead,
okay. So what if I buy a ticket as an NFT, and then could I maybe just generate that code and then resell it?
Yeah. So
wouldn't that be a problem?
Yeah, so we thought about this quite a lot, and that was one of the kind of the things we wanted to stop, because there's obviously a big problem in real tickets where someone will take a screenshot and sell it 3 or 4 times to different people, and then the first one that shows up gets let into the event. And we basically decided that we'd have this kind of window where our website won't generate these QR codes until a certain point before the event, and that's the same kind of time frame where the marketplace will turn off. So you won't be able to sell these NFTs. You'll be able to sell these NFTs on the marketplace up until a certain time before the event, and then the marketplace will shut for that event. And then at that point, you'll be able to generate the ticket. So obviously, people could still go off and screenshot it and sell it like that. But we kind of make very clear, and we've got this whole secure marketplace. That's not a secure way to buy our tickets. You buy them through our marketplace. and that kind of
Yeah.
stops the whole kind of double selling problem that you get with
That's
with
very
paper
smart.
tickets.
That's very smart because I think that's common. There are a lot of posts as well with other concerts because in Singapore you have to again scan, but there are some who can't enter anymore because apparently the ticket they bought has already
Mm.
been used. So I think that's a very smart workaround. Um, I think in the US there was also a report about Ticketmaster, right? Because they have the monopoly on ticket sales. So, how do you think Frontrow is going to solve that problem for users?
So the main problem with Ticketmaster is the inflated prices. So we did a bit of looking into the model that they use. Essentially, if an event gives 100% of their tickets to Ticketmaster, it's reported that they only list on the platform 10% of the ones they receive, and they'll sell 90% to other secondhand marketplaces. And this scarcity
Oh,
within the 10% that they first release
mhm,
inflates the price, but then also sets the first initial price. And so the ticket resellers can then
mhm,
only go up from there. So the ceiling is already very high. The
mhm,
way we are going to find a way around this, and I think the real challenge for us is going to be to get events onboarded onto our platform, because they're very happy to go onto Ticketmaster and get those extra prices, is give them
yeah,
a portion of the NFT resales. So essentially, the
mhm,
event would become the creator of the NFT collection and would then receive a percentage of the resale markets. So if you think about it, it's similar to the new model that Rolex have applied, where
yeah,
they were not interested in the secondhand resale value of the watches and have now sort of pivoted and now accepted to service the watch and then get a percentage of its resale value in the future.
yeah.
And so that's how we hope to draw in events from our perspective, because the user experience will be better, the fees will be lower, but in terms of their own revenue, they will also benefit from the secondhand marketplace directly rather than through many intermediaries. So that's sort of our strategy to get events onboarded onto our platform.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes the power away from the scalpers and it puts it back in the hands of the event organizer and the
Mhm.
individuals purchasing the tickets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, imagine if, well, this sounds brutal, but imagine if an artist, like someone you really love or someone beloved in the public, they also like pass away or would retire. So then you have like a ticket that, if they're not going to be having a concert anymore, the value of that NFT, I feel like would also be going up.
Mhm.
So there are just so many applications to this, and I think in South Korea alone, or even in the Philippines, um, fans are very, very dedicated to whoever artist they're supporting, and I feel that that's people collect photo cards, and so why not NFTs, right? I think that's a really cool one, or maybe for movies even. I would just like if I really liked or enjoyed the movie. I'm a Christopher Nolan fan. I would for sure would like to watch all of his movies and flex that, oh yeah, on my wallet I have all his movie NFTs, movie ticket NFTs. So what? You know what
Yes,
I mean? So there's just so
Absolutely.
many um utilities or applications to it. I own a bar in Pampanga. The way I see it as well is if we have events, we can also just use tickets or NFTs as
Mm.
tickets, and it'll just be so much easier for everyone. Like if you want to reserve a table buy the NFT, show it to us. That'll be easier for our admin as well. So there are
Mm.
so many things that you can apply this to. Are you guys in talks with are you currently in talks with event organizers, any artists that you could share? Who are you working with?
So in terms of our sort of first initial steps, the real people we're in discussion with is people in the IC ecosystem. So mainly the hubs would be a
Mhm.
huge onboarding process for us, but we would really love to have all the hub ticketing onboarded onto Frontrow as an initial step. And
Mhm.
this would help us in many ways, but mainly it's to get a proof of concept out of there. I think the
Yeah.
hardest thing for a lot of the dApps is to get actually a sizable event to run on your platform and to sort of take a leap of faith on your technology. If we keep it within the IC ecosystem, just for the start with the hubs, I mean, there's loads of events going on in the IC. It's amazing. It's all around the world and it's fantastic. But that would also be great for us. And then once we get that proof of concept ready within the IC space, with the sort of cross-chain functionality of the IC, and with the stablecoin coming, the CKUSDC stablecoin coming as well, we can branch out to all sorts of events, whether that be Web3 events from other blockchains that might use us for the sort of high transaction processing capabilities of the IC or the low fees. That could be an option, or even event concerts, musicians, movies, anything
Name
like
it.
that really could be onboarded with the CKUSDC arrival, which I think would really help traditional Web2 users or Web3 sort of enthusiasts to come in and trust us that, you know, we're going to provide a real functionality, a real utility for this asset for them. And they, you know, might take a leap of faith as well.
I think that's very smart, you know, in targeting the ICP community first, because like you said, there are so many events global. I think you guys went to the one in Zurich for the 3rd anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So we had that, and every hub, like if you follow them or check their accounts, everyone's just so active online and offline. So for sure, making sure that, you know, having that proof of concept within the IC first. Again, such a great strategy. I'd like to know how and why did you pick to build on the IC?
Fantastic. Yeah, I suppose the IC as a whole is an amazing blockchain. I mean, the fact that it's all on chain means that our NFTs, regardless of sort of our platform or any other external factors, will always remain on the blockchain. So as you mentioned, the memorabilia that you have from an event will never go away. It'll always be within your wallet, and it's always something that you can attach sentimental value to. Secondly, the high transaction processing capabilities of the IC is amazing and is unlike any other blockchain out there. I think it's around 30,000 transactions per second it can process. And this is also a big problem that ticketing platforms have. With the high demands they get as soon as they release the tickets, very often the website crashes and it's sort of...
They can't handle it.
Exactly. They can't handle the traffic that comes in all at once because everybody wants to get in early. So those, I would say those are the main two things, but also the reverse gas model that the IC implements allows us to sort of cater to the lower fees that Ticketmaster would have, because there's no real point in selling a ticket for, let's say, $15 if the act of buying it is going to cost you double the price of the ticket. So maintaining the low gas fees through the reverse gas model was really important to us. And then I would say just one other thing is we have quite a few connections in the IC. So we already sort of knew the space, and it's such a welcoming space. I mean, the way we started off was fantastic. You know, I don't know if there's any other dApps out there thinking about starting a project, but the process of starting is unbelievable. And they really do a great job at sort of guiding you through the major hiccups and the major sort of stoppages that you might encounter as a new dApp, mainly the developer grants, but also just the community in general. Everybody is always up for helping. You can contact people directly. It's a very open space, and it's a great blockchain to build on.
That's so exciting to hear, because I feel aside from the financial grant, mostly what dApps need is access to mentors, people, that wealth of experience for sure, that you can't put a price on that. And of course, again, like you said, the community members. So you need people to actually test the demo or maybe give, because for sure, sometimes when you are so close to the project, there's so many facets you can't see, or so many user facing problems that you aren't really able to cover. So you kind of need that feedback as well. So with that said, can you share a little bit about the current status of Frontrow's development and deployment? Where are we at?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the deployment, what we're really excited for is the ICRC7 new release. We're trying to get that NFT standard integrated within our platform very soon. and we're in talks with the team at Definity that actually built the new standard to sort of test it and use it, give them feedback. But that'll be big for us. The dynamic NFTs we created, they work. The functionality is there, but there's slight problems where I suppose it's the dynamic nature of it doesn't quite fit the standard that we want. And so it's not yet displaying in the wallets. It's displaying on our website, and you can connect your wallet and see it on our website. What you can't do is directly see it within your wallet. So this sort of is a big hiccup for us, where we can't yet run events fully because the users wouldn't get their NFTs within their wallet or wouldn't display in their wallet. But we are working towards that with the new standard, but also with the wallets as well. We're in communication with Plug. Maybe mainly because their mobile authentication is going to be a game changer for us in terms of, because no one really wants to bring their desktop to an event. They just want it on mobile. So
imagine
that's going to be big. Yeah, exactly. So that was a big problem for us. But now with the new Plug mobile auth, it should really be running smoothly. And then once we have the NFTs sort of displaying in the wallets, we can start slowly onboarding events. I think, a great starting point, again, as I mentioned before, is the hubs. We are in talk with Emilio. And maybe we're sort of thinking of a way where it might be a partnership between Luma and us, where you can sort of pick.
I was
if
gonna
you want
say,
an NFT
hit them
ticket.
up.
No, it'd be great. But it's going to be that aspect, because also one thing they don't want to do is reduce the sort of attendance to Web3 people. They want to still leave it open for non-Web3 people who don't want an NFT or don't necessarily want to download a wallet just yet. So that might be a starting point for us, where users are given the choice, essentially. Would you like the NFT tickets, or would you like the traditional Luma portal?
Oh, yeah. I think that's a strong starting point, because you're right. Not everyone we're still at a stage where I'd say there are a lot more users compared to 2017. We've made great strides, but we are far from mass adoption, or we're getting there. But having that kind of option, I feel like, would really broaden your market. So, do you know any other decentralized ticket marketplace on different blockchains? If so, you don't have to name them, but maybe list how you guys are different from them. What are you improving, or what problems do you see among them that you guys are addressing with Frontrow?
So the main ones, there's a lot obviously built on Ethereum. The NFT tickets is something that's already been explored, definitely. But I would say what they don't have that we do is the dynamic nature of it. Very often it's just a very simple NFT, and it's a soul-bound token, so it only sticks to your wallet. You can't then necessarily resell it in some of them. Some of the other ones, the marketplaces, not necessarily within the ticketing platform of itself. You have to go to different marketplaces. And that doesn't allow them to add the functionality that we have, where it's the cutoff and then the QR code generation. So there's various problems like this. Also, the main ones as well that the IC helps us with is the transaction processing capabilities and the low fees. Sometimes if you're paying in ETH, I know that now it's changed with ETH 2.0, but before it was a big problem for users, especially for traditional events. But there are definitely some out there, which shows that it's actually a possibility. It's definitely something that can grow, and people have been sort of exploring that avenue before on other blockchains. And I think it's a real. I was amazed that no one had built it on the IC yet. I really thought that some people. I mean, it seems so obvious to me that I was really surprised. So I think even bringing it to the IC in general, I think would just be a great use case.
Yeah, there are so many superpowers of the IC and things that you can only do within the ecosystem, right? So I think that alone is a huge advantage. I agree with that one. So now are there any, I'm not sure if I can ask this, but are there any features, like some alpha that you guys are working on, or like a sneak peek into what features you guys are planning on adding to make sure that the experience for both organizers and users or attendees is heightened or better.
Yeah, definitely. So there is one that we haven't quite announced yet, which will definitely be a bigger benefit for the event organizers, which is the decryption application, mobile application we're trying to work on. So essentially, when we generate the QR codes, we use threshold ESDA encryption for now. We're hoping to integrate VEC keys as soon as they're released. But what we are working on is an app for the event organizers where you scan the ticket presented to you by the user, and it decrypts it to give you sort of the metadata of the ticket. So the number, when it was bought, for which collection, and that would allow the event organizers to streamline their sort of acceptance process when you show up to the event. It would also allow them to know that a singular ticket has been scanned and is already in the event if someone else was to show up later and present the same ticket. So that's the main thing, the new feature we're working on from the events perspective. In terms of the users, we're working on sort of integrating open chat. We want them to be able to sort of talk about their attendance before and after the event. So they'll be able to share their attendance, whether it's through X, through open chat, or through the Discord channel for that event. We really want to sort of allow the users to really communicate and talk before the event, connect after if they made some great connections at the event. For Zurich, for example, springs to mind, where you were speaking to a lot of people, but you didn't necessarily connect with them. It'd be great if you could then in open chat or via Twitter connect and know that he was also attending.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's an awesome idea that people can explore, where if you attended an event, because usually I'm not sure how it's done with in the UK or maybe in Hong Kong, but in the Philippines, when you attend an event, there will be a GC, a separate group chat for that. Like if you attended our business mixer, we'll create ICP business mixer 2023, and then everyone will just converse. So yeah, I think that could also be like your entry point, same as what's happening with, I think, well, I experienced it first with the apes, BAYC, MAYC. They did that. They have a separate group chat. So having that as well, having that kind of access that's kind of gated. Yeah, you don't want to be, a gatekeeper, but having that kind of, again, access to a certain group chat for an event, I think that there are a lot of utilities that could be explored as well. Now, in terms of roadmap, what can we expect from Frontrow, like 6-12 months from now, or maybe 5 years from now?
Wow. That is a question.
Big leap. I was like 6-12 months and then 5 years.
That's fantastic. I would say the 6-month roadmap is definitely, by 6 months, we'll have ran our first event. We'll have one event running on Frontrow, whether that's sort of a singular one-off event, or if it's onboarding the hubs in partnership with Luma, as I mentioned. I would say the 1 year roadmap is probably to have all of the hubs onboarded onto the platform, as well as other members of the IC ecosystem who are running events, such as Catalyzed. Catalyzed was one who showed interest in running events on our platform. And in the 5 years, I would say running events outside of the Web3 space, and regular events, not just one-offs, whether that's a partnership with a group, artists, or I don't know, maybe a bigger institution like an arena who's running events. That would also be quite interesting to see.
That'd be amazing. Imagine.
That'd be amazing, yeah.
We have a very unique opportunity to take Web3 technology, and if we can balance the scaling correctly, we can also provide the service to people who are still on Web2, and it can really help them bridge that gap and start to identify some of the benefits of Web3, which is definitely a goal of ours.
Yeah. We kind of we see our thing as kind of an onboarding almost into Web3 for people. If you've never heard of Web3 and you're attending an event that's using our ticketing system, it's kind of a very easy way into the Web3 space, and we see that as a real selling point to organizations as well.
Absolutely.
For sure.
For Web3 events, it's a way to display the benefits of the IC ecosystem. And then for broader Web2 events, it's a way to display the benefits of Web3 as a broader concept.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think how we're approaching like showing people what Web3 is, we kind of just like we're kind of just explaining that, oh yeah, it's transparent, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that. But what we're lacking is showing them that, hey, this is how your problem's gonna be solved. Like, I don't know how credit cards work. I just know they do. Like, I don't know the back end, and honestly, I don't need to know what happens. I just know that it works, it's convenient, and I feel like the way we get into mass adoption is having something like Frontrow, just being able to interact with it, people not needing to know the technicalities of it, but reaping the benefits that it brings. And I truly just see that for this, and hopefully we get to implement it for our events on ICP Hub Philippines. And
Yeah.
I for sure, like I said, I'm a nerd for like movies or events and concerts. Hopefully I get to like flex, oh, I interviewed them
Yeah.
when they were just babies.
That'd be great.
I interviewed them, right? Imagine. There are
Absolutely.
just so many possibilities for this. So now I want to ask, oh, I want to go back to what you mentioned, that you appreciate the ICP community, right? And you're working with, the hubs and their communities. Now, how important and how do you see community engagement affect how you're going to be building Frontrow?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's particularly important for what we're doing because we need to attract both an audience and event organizers to ensure that we can do what we need to do. Fortunately, we are now part of one of the best communities for this, and the IC community has really been there for any opportunities in which we need to do tests or whether we need assistance with funding and grant information. They're very good at ensuring that the projects are very solid and have good roadmaps before releasing funds, and ensuring that that is something we can do with working closely with the IC community.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a long road ahead, but having, again, that kind of support, that kind of mentorship, that kind of community boost is for sure very, very helpful. Speaking of which, our community members, they have been sending in questions like crazy since we started. I
Amazing.
haven't even, right? I haven't even told them that, oh, you guys can send in, but they're like sending in anyway. I love that. So are you guys
Amazing. I love
ready
the
to,
enthusiasm.
right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Are you ready to dive in?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's go.
We have a few questions here. This one is from Gifty. Can you explain your revenue model? How does your program generate income while maintaining low transaction fees for users?
Of course. Yeah. So essentially, the revenue, I would say a good tip for any DApp trying to start out is to make your revenue scalable. Obviously, we're in a fairly small space right now, but it very well could explode. I really hope it does. So the main thing is to make it scalable. The way we are going to generate revenue is essentially if a ticket, if an event comes and runs a 500 ticket event, we'll take a flat fee on each ticket that we mint. And that will be sort of our initial revenue. The second part of our revenue will also be within the ticket resales. So from the seller's perspective, you will 2.5% royalty will go to the event organizer. And from the buyer's perspective, 2.5% will go to us as a platform for facilitating the transaction. And that will essentially be our revenue stream for Frontrow.
Exactly. And we want to ensure that in a traditionally inflated margin business, we can keep our margins low. Through the reverse gas model makes that absolutely perfect for us to ensure that everyone is getting the best value for what they're purchasing without unnecessary intermediaries or fees.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's a very valid question because, again, one of the problems that you guys are trying to solve is to make sure you give the power back to the users, the attendees, event organizers, and that wouldn't be possible if the prices are also, crazy high, just like the scalpers. Then that would just beat the purpose. So that's really good to hear. Thanks so much, Gifty, for asking that. Hopefully we were able to answer your question. If you have follow-up questions about this, please send them in and we'll answer them for you. And then the next one is from Oh, Zacho Cleopatra. How does Frontrow handle the secondary market for ticket resales, and what measures are in place to prevent price how do I read this? Scalping and ensure that
Yeah.
resales remain secure and fair for all participants?
Yeah, so we recommend selling front row tickets on our marketplace that runs on our website. So obviously it's an NFT, it's yours, you can do what you want with it. You can go and sell it somewhere else if you really want. But kind of our marketplace, we make clear is kind of the place to sell it. And because of the transparency and everything, it kind of runs its own market. People can resell their ticket if they want in a secure manner. So kind of that security is held by the blockchain. You know, you list your ticket, someone goes to pay, and that all kind of runs through a script running on the blockchain. And that ticket and that ICP is exchanged kind of securely according to the blockchain. So there's no kind of scamming that can go there, like you mentioned, where someone can list a ticket, take the money, and then disappear. That just can't happen. Kind of via the way that we do our selling, and kind of the scalping and price gouging is kind of managed by the fact that the secondary market's transparent. Everyone can see that. So if someone goes to sell a ticket for 1,000 and the rest of the tickets are selling for 25, then kind of that market's open, and people just won't be buying that ticket that's 10 times the price of all the other ones. And kind of the scalping problem, like a lot of DApps kind of solve this problem by limiting the number of NFTs you can purchase per wallet. And obviously that doesn't completely solve the problem, because someone can go out and have 200, 300 wallets. But it kind of mitigates it, because it makes it much harder for these people to operate their kind of these scalping scams almost. So we kind of use a lot of the tenets of the ICP and the blockchain to kind of keep our marketplace secure, just inherently based on how the blockchain works.
Also, be able to just like filter everything, because those are I would assume that, for example, again, for concert tickets, of course there are different like rows, like upper box, lower box, VIP, or whatever. You can select a filter for them, so would they be showing as a type of like, what do you call them, like rarity or a feature? Again, can I just so can I just like use a filter and utilize like show the lowest price for this area for like VIP section? Can I do that?
So we're kind of unsure exactly how we're going to implement that right now. Like there's obviously two options. You can have different collections for different ticket tiers, and you can have kind of different metadata on tickets to indicate which tier they are. But the NFTs will definitely have kind of tiers, and the marketplace will be a fully fledged marketplace. You can filter by price, you can filter by like most recently posted, and kind of because the marketplace is so transparent, bad actors will get pushed out of the marketplace. People will know, don't buy from this wallet. They're price gouging, and it becomes a much more transparent space when selling kind of via these ICP platforms, as opposed to kind of the more traditional method where you see a post on Facebook and you just send someone some cash. So that's kind of where kind of the angle we're coming from.
Yeah, our user interface is very important to us. And of course, we want to be able to incorporate all the features you'd have on traditional ticketing services on our service, but ideally in an even better and more transparent fashion.
Exactly.
That's what we need. That's what's lacking now. Thanks for sending that in, Zacho. Again, if you also have a follow-up question, please feel free to send it. And then this one is from Edu Optinu. What measures are in place to handle the scalability challenges, particularly during high demand events? I think you touched a little bit on this one, but maybe if you can clarify for Edu.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's provided to us from the amazing community we're able to build on, and using IC technology, it can handle very high rates of transactions.
There's also a potential aspect where we might, for example, for a potential funded round, sort of let people access the event at different sort of times. That might be one of the. I mean, it's the high transaction processing capability should take care of all these issues. But we might, there's possibilities to change the model or sort of add some functionality if we are seeing a problem with this.
Of course,
Mhm.
yeah. If we have the privilege of hosting an event that would have such a large capacity and demand, we'll ensure that we have very elaborate methodology in place.
Yeah.
To
And obviously,
that
like, one of the great things is that the IC helps facilitate traditional kind of scalability solutions much easier. So things like sharding, and spreading out your computation across multiple nodes, which is a kind of a traditional way of dealing with scalability, is quite complex when you do it through systems like traditional kind of hosting systems like AWS and those kind of Web 2 based systems. But the IC makes that really useful, really kind of efficient with the canister system. We can just kind of deploy extra canisters and have a canister manager that kind of directs traffic around, and those kind of more traditional scalability solutions that have been being used for a while on Web 2 are super easy to implement on the ICP, and much easier, I've found, than kind of in more traditional systems, which is another thing that we're clearly going to do to address these scalability problems.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, the canisters are there for a reason, to address those scalability challenges. So yeah, I mean, I just realized, I mean, we always do these interviews, and obviously we are very much exposed to the IC ecosystem. But I think that with all the dApps that we have interviewed, Frontrow, or what you guys are building, the decentralized ticketing service, you guys are utilizing every superpower of IC, right? So it's just so amazing to see how it's implemented. Again, I think with Web3, we are just trying to explain, oh, this is what's going to happen, or this is what it can do. But sometimes it's so hard to see it being implemented in projects. And I think I just fully understood and appreciated them because of this interview now. So thank you for that. Hopefully our audience feels the same way, because it's very exciting. It got me super thrilled that I am in this space right now. We're still very early, but we're already seeing this kind of growth. So we are still having questions. I feel like you guys explained very, very well the different how you guys differentiate from traditional ticket marketplaces. But for those who are joining in, who just want like a very quick summary, are you okay with tackling this question? So this one is from Dark Spirits. What advantages will a decentralized ticket marketplace on the IC offer over traditional centralized ticketing systems?
Yeah, of course. So the main advantages, I mean, as we said, the main thing with building on the IC is that we're trying to essentially cater to the needs of the user for all of his ticketing experiences. So how we do that is we use dynamic NFTs, which essentially start off as a singular ticket that you can trade on our marketplace. An hour before the event, the marketplace shuts down and your NFT generates an access QR code for you as the user. And then after, it becomes a proof of attendance, sort of memorabilia collectible for you attending that event. And the main thing is we're trying to create a fair, transparent marketplace through the decentralization of our platform. And we're also using the blockchain capabilities of the IC in order to deal with the problems such as sort of high demand, crashing websites, and very high fees when purchasing tickets. So this is done through the high transaction processing capabilities and
Yeah, that's really great. I think, again, we extensively covered the advantages or competitive edges that you have against traditional ticketing systems and even within the blockchain now. So thank you so much, Dark Spirits. I hope we were able to clarify that. And then for our last community question from Choco No Counter, what is your top priority for 2024? Can you and your team members share a bit about the strategy that your project, that you guys are going to be, strategies you're implementing in the near future?
Yeah, so I guess like Mark said, like our top priority for 2024 is to get an event or events plural running on Frontrow. We have all the tech almost there, and we just really want to get an event running, really prove to the community, prove to everyone that our system works and that we are easier to use more user friendly, more event organizer friendly than more traditional systems, which is what we strongly believe as a development team.
I think so as well. And I think, again, we discussed earlier that once you have that proof of concept, like once other people, like it doesn't matter if they're in the IC or not, if they have events and they see how efficient it is,
Exactly.
they would call you up. You don't have to you know what I mean? Like they would be the one reaching out to you. So it's very, very exciting. Again, such a great strategy to start with. I think that's incredibly powerful. Now, I would like to ask you if there's anything else that you would like to share with our audience about Frontrow or your journey in Web3, and how can interested users and potential partners get involved or learn more about you?
Definitely. So you can learn more about Frontrow by following us on Twitter. You can stay updated to all of our new features and new additions to the platform. You can also join our Discord, in which we released an article a while back, sort of explaining how we're going to approach tackling this problem of sort of revolutionizing the ticketing industry. And then furthermore, we're also planning on launching a funded campaign in the near future, I would say, probably in the next sort of 3 months. And obviously, feel free to participate. We'll make sure that the rewards for your participation are up to scratch, and we'll definitely try and reward you guys for early participation. But that's also a way you can get involved in our project. We're also sort of touring the Southeast Asia this summer, and we're meeting up with a lot of the hubs down there. I know that we're meeting up with the Philippines hub at some point in August. So obviously, feel free to join us there. A lot of the team will be there in person, and feel free to ask us sort of any questions, give us some tips, some pointers. Any feedback would be great from your part, and hopefully we'll see loads of you there.
Oh, that's very exciting. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, and just a massive thanks to you, Julianne, and everyone
Yes.
here that has attended and been very enthusiastic and asked questions. It's wonderful to see everyone here.
Oh yeah, we are very active. I mean, this is just online. Imagine the energy of a real life meetup or an event. So when you guys are here, let's set something up. It doesn't have to be super fancy. I mean, just having this kind of discussion with you guys, the founders, the developers, I think that's big in the community. I mean, usually we hide behind PFPs, and nothing wrong with that, but it's such a different connection when you get to actually ask questions directly to people who are involved, the core team. So we really appreciate you making the time, and of course adding the Philippines to your Southeast Asia tour. So we love that. And again, hopefully everyone here and more of our community members, we get to meet you in real life and bother you with our questions in real life with no limits.
It's
by
our
then.
pleasure. We wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We're gonna be cooking it for sure. So again, thank you so much for taking the time, and hopefully we have you come back here once we have maybe a demo that we could show them next time, or once you've done your first few events, and then come back here and tell us how you guys implemented it and how we're going to be implementing it once we meet this year.
Fantastic.
Absolutely, that would be a privilege. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for dropping by.
Wonderful. You
Thanks,
too.
guys. Thank you for joining.
All listeners at home, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was so much fun. Hindi ko talaga expect na tatlo sila nasasama. Alam ko dun sa photo, I think 4 pa nga eh. But usually pag gano'n, naglalagay lang ng photo and one would come or 1 or 2, ganyan. But I really appreciate them taking the time to actually talk to us and answer yung questions. And like I said, I think sobrang obvious in this episode na ako yung target market nila. Because yun nga, mahilig ako manood ng movies, ng concerts. Sound off in the comments kung pareho kayo, no? Or mag-attend ng mga events, especially sa Web3, di ba? Ang dami nating mga pa-events. And ang hirap dahil laging nagkakaroon ng problems with ticketing. Alam mo yon, yung mga usual issues na natatanggap natin for Web 2. So, it's nice na meron na nga, especially built on ICP. It's very, very exciting. And yun nga, no, sabi nga nila parang it feels so obvious na ang laking problem nun pero walang nagsasolve. 'Di ba? So, ayun. Maraming maraming salamat po for sending in your questions. We have been receiving an overwhelming amount of questions or number of questions from you guys. So, eto po yung mga napili natin for tonight. So, Dark Spirits, Gifty, Zaku, Edo, and Joko No Counter, maraming maraming salamat po for sending in your questions and participating sa ating live stream. What you guys can do to claim po yung rewards is message po yung Twitter natin and then tell us na nanalo po ako. Maybe you can send a screenshot as well for proof. So just be patient lang po sa distribution natin. Once we get a handle of the giveaway, automatic naman po natin dinedistribute yan. Again, maraming maraming salamat po. Join us again next week for another episode of IC Stories. It's also going to be a really good episode, you guys. I think maraming alpha doon. So make sure to join us and share it again with your friends po. I think this is a very good entryway for your family and friends na wala pang idea of what Web3 is. Bakit ba natin to kailangan? Why are we pushing for this new technology? I think IC Stories is the best place po for them to start. And again, for this weekend po, we're going to be posting episode 2 of IC Pulse Weekly. And we do need your support doon. Show us some love for our new baby. Mag-comment lang kayo. We have episode 1 out now. So, kahit mag-heart lang kayo doon, sabihin nyo na, oh, I watch IC Stories. Ganyan, galing ako doon. We would really appreciate it. And we're going to be announcing lahat po ng IC Premio giveaways natin sa IC Stories na. So, ayun, if you want to participate and you want to claim your prizes, doon na po ang way natin. Again, thank you everyone for watching tonight's episode. Sana po ay nag-enjoy kayo. Because I surely did. If you have any projects na you want us to interview, you want us to cover, topics you want us to talk about, pwedeng-pwede din po. Let us know in the comments. Or you could just say hi and tell us where you're from para kung halimbawa makita namin na marami tayong viewers sa taga Cebu. Maybe we might just have a community meet-up sa place ninyo. Alright, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on IC Stories episode 48 with Frontrow, the decentralized ticket marketing place. Maraming maraming salamat po. Have a great night, everyone. Bye!